Today is July the 12th, 2026. Hey, beautiful people, and welcome back to For the Greater Good with Sunny Peoples, where we explore the values and virtues that help us build stronger communities, healthier relationships, and more meaningful lives. Today, we're talking about a beautiful concept from the Yoruba tradition, Iwapẹ, which means gentle character. It is more than being nice. It is a way of being that reflects inner strength, wisdom, humility, and compassion. Gentle character is not weakness. It is not timid. It is not Pollyanna. It is not naive. And it is not shallow. It is the courage to respond with grace when life gives us reasons upon reasons to act harshly and wild out. Let's explore some essential elements of gentle character. Iwapẹ is kind, non-judgmental, curious, caring and careful, honest, patient, humble, and sensitive. Kindness is often viewed as a simple act, but it is actually a powerful force for healing and connection. A person with gentle character understands that every interaction is an opportunity to leave someone better than they found them. Kindness is reflected in our words, our actions, and sometimes in our silence. Kindness says, I see you. You matter. You are worthy of respect. Gentle people do not practice kindness only when it's convenient. They choose kindness time and time again, especially when it is difficult. Here's a reflection question for you. How might your relationship change if kindness became your first response instead of your last resort? One of the greatest barriers to connection is judgment. We often make assumptions about people based on their appearances, backgrounds, beliefs, or single moments in their lives. Gentle character invites us to pause before drawing conclusions. Being not judgmental does not mean abandoning standards or discernment. It means recognizing that every person carries a story we may not know or fully understand. People with gentle character ask, what experiences shape this person? What pain might they be carrying? What can I learn before I form an opinion? When we release unnecessary judgment, we create a space for understanding, empathy, and growth. Another reflection question. How often do you seek to understand before seeking to evaluate? Curiosity is an often overlooked virtue. Gentle character is rooted in a genuine desire to learn about others rather than control or correct them. Curious people approach differences with openness instead of fear. Curiosity sounds like, tell me more. Help me understand. What has your experience been? Curiosity transforms conflict into conversation and strangers into neighbors. When we remain curious, we continue growing. We become less certain of our assumptions and more aware of our shared humanity. Here's another reflection question. Where in your life could curiosity replace criticism? Caring moves beyond words and enters the realm of action. A gentle spirit notices what others overlook. They check on the colleague who seems withdrawn. They encourage the young person who needs confidence. They support the elder who feels forgotten. Caring is not always grand. Often it is found in small, consistent acts. A phone call, a handwritten note, a listening ear, a sincere smile. These simple actions communicate a profound message. You are not alone. Gentle character recognizes that our lives are interconnected and that our well-being and the well-being of others contributes to the well-being of us all. Another reflection question. Who in your life could benefit from a caring gesture today? Sensitivity is frequently misunderstood as fragility. In reality, sensitivity is awareness. Sensitive people pay attention to how their words, actions, and decisions affect others. They understand that what they may say may linger long after the conversation ends. Gentle character encourages us to be emotionally aware, thoughtful in communication, respectful of different experiences, mindful of others' needs. Sensitivity allows us to respond with compassion rather than impulse. The most influential leaders, parents, teachers, and community builders often possess this quality. Their strength comes not from dominating others, but from understanding them. Here's another reflection. How can greater sensitivity improve the way you lead, love, and serve? Respect begins with recognizing that every person has inherent worth. A person of good character does not reserve respect only for those with power, status, and influence. They treat everyone, from a CEO to a custodian, from a child to an elder, with dignity and consideration. Respect is demonstrated through listening without interrupting, valuing different perspectives, honoring boundaries, speaking with courtesy and kindness, disagreeing without demeaning. Respect does not require us to agree with everyone. It requires us to acknowledge their humanity. In today's world, where disagreement can quickly become division, respect reminds us that we can hold different views and still treat one another with decency. Here's a reflection. How do I treat people whose opinions, experiences, or backgrounds differ from my own? Patience is perhaps one of the most difficult aspects of good character because it requires us to understand our need for immediate results. We live in a culture that values speed, instant messages, instant information, instant gratification. Yet, growth, healing, and meaningful relationships are often require time. Patience teaches us to listen before reacting, learn before judging, wait before assuming, trust before abandoning hope. Patience is not passive. It is active endurance. Mr. Rogers exemplified patience. He spoke slowly, listened carefully, and created space for people to experience their feelings without rushing them. He understood that transformation often happens in moments of quiet attention. When we practice patience, we reduce unnecessary stress because we stop demanding that life unfold according to our timetable. Here's a reflection. Where in my life am I being invited to trust the process rather than force the outcome? Humility is often misunderstood as thinking less of yourself. In reality, humility is thinking of yourself less, often. A humble person recognizes both their strengths and limitations. Humility says, I may be wrong. I still have more to learn. Your experience matters. I don't have all the answers. Humble people are often curious people because they understand that wisdom can come from anyone. Humility frees us from the exhausting burden of always having to be right, always having to prove ourselves, or always having to be the smartest person in the room. It creates space for learning, growth, and authentic connection. Nelson Mandela once noted that humility is not weakness, but a source of strength. Many of history's most admired leaders possessed a quality, a quiet confidence, rooted in humility rather than ego. How might my relationships improve if I approach them with greater humility and openness? Respect tells us you matter. Patience tells us there is time. Humility tells us I still have something to learn. When these qualities work together, they create the foundation of gentle character. Iwapẹ. A respectful person honors others. A patient person gives others room to grow. A humble person remains teachable. And perhaps that is the essence of Iwapẹ. Moving through the world with a spirit that uplifts rather than diminishes, listens rather than dominates, and seeks understanding rather than superiority. Gentle character is not measured by how loudly we speak, but how deeply we learn and listen. It is revealed in the respect we extend, the patience we practice, and the humility we embrace. In cultivating these qualities, we not only become better neighbors to others, we become better stewards of our own hearts. For the greater good, we may choose respect over contempt, patience over frustration, and humility over pride. We often believe that restoring balance to the world requires us to fix every imbalance we see. We become exhausted trying to correct, fix, manage, and control everything around us. But what if restoring balance begins somewhere much closer? What if, instead of tackling every imbalance in the world, we focused on becoming balanced ourselves? A balanced person brings patience into impatience, kindness into harshness, humility into pride, and respect into conflict, not because they are trying to change others, but because that is who they have become. Just as a candle does not struggle against darkness, but simply shines, a person of gentle character does not have to battle every expression of imbalance. Their presence itself becomes a force of harmony and for harmony. Much of our stress comes from carrying responsibility for things beyond our control. We worry about fixing other people, changing institutions, solving every problem, and correcting every wrong. Gentle character reminds us that while we have influence, we do not have control over everything. Our first responsibility is to cultivate balance within ourselves, to respect when others are disrespectful, patient when others are impatient, and humble when others are driven by ego. When we become balanced, we contribute to balance to every room we enter, every conversation we have, and every relationship we nurture. Perhaps the world is healed one balanced person at a time. We need not carry the burden of correcting every imbalance around us. Instead, we can embody the qualities we wish to see: respect, patience, humility, kindness, compassion, and gentle character. For when we are in balance, we become a living invitation for others to find their balance as well. That is the wisdom of Iwapẹ. That is gentle character. And that is how we serve the greater good. Navasha Daya has a song entitled Iwapẹ. The verse goes, "It's not about security. It's about your destiny. It's not about the power you seek. It's about your destiny. Be good, act good, play good. Gentle character, be sweet, be gentle, be kind. Gentle character. Iwapẹ reminds us that character is revealed not only in how we treat people during our best moments, but also during our most challenging ones. Gentle character is kind when harshness seems easier, non-judgmental when criticism is tempting, curious when assumption seems sufficient, caring when indifference is convenient, sensitive when others are hurting. The world does not need more noise. It needs more people whose presence brings peace, healing, and understanding. And as we go through this week, let us ask ourselves, how can I embody gentle character for the greater good? Thank you for joining me, Sunny Peoples, for another episode of For the Greater Good. Remember, every act of kindness, every moment of understanding, and every expression of gentle character contributes to a better world for us all. Until next time, choose gentleness, choose humanity, choose the greater good.